Hi guys, this is Marvin and I'm an app developer for 8 years now. Recently switched to AI development and it really blew my mind because you can do everything so much faster. We don't want to talk about security features and really fancy logic, but if you wanted to throw out an app as fast as possible, definitely utilizing AI is one of the best things you can do nowadays. And for the sake of this reason, I wanted to start a short experiment in this video on how to create and publish an app as fast as possible. So first thing we wanted to cover is a little bit of researching the idea and generating a good overall concept of the app itself. Then we wanted to grab all that information and create the project in SwiftUI utilizing Cursor with mainly Claude Sonnet, which works quite well for SwiftUI apps. Then I will show you how I generate screenshots for smaller apps of mine using a tool called appscreens.com, but you can also use different tools for it. Then I will show you how to upload to the AppStore Connect, which also requires a paid Apple developer license. I think it's priced at $99 per year. I will show you how I normally research keywords in a very fast way using a tool called AppStore, which is also not for free. I think they also priced it at $100 a year. And in the end, I will show you how to provide all the metadata for AppStore Connect in order to set up your App Store listing. So just get started. And I wanted to show you how I generate good concept and prompt for Cursor to work with when we generate a very simple project. So I just hit over to ChatGPT and I asked it to generate me some ideas for dev tools, which I can realize inside of SwiftUI for an iOS app. And this one sounds pretty cool, a color code converter. I also did a little bit of research in the App Store, and there are two apps out there which I screenshotted and which I throw in here in order to ask it for a good concept to generate. So I will just copy this saying, hey, I want to code this in Cursor. Please generate a good overall concept of this app and also check out those screenshots from competitors I found interesting. So here we go, some screenshots from other apps which are color converters in the App Store. I also wanted to add that it should create a cursor prompt which I can use to generate the app. Sometimes it comes up with really fancy code architectures which Cursor should use, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'm a huge fan of just letting the AI decide what works best for the AI. So I definitely wanted to exclude this here. So let's see what this gives us. Meanwhile, we can set up the Xcode project, which is really simple. We just wanted to hit over to Xcode, which is a tool we use for iOS and Mac app development. We say create a new project. Just trying to make this a little bit smaller over here. All right, then here we are in the right tab. We're in the iOS tab, apps. We are naming that whatever, color converter. The rest is good. Interface SwiftUI, language Swift, testing none, storage none. That's good. Just putting it over here. We don't need a Git repo. And we also wanted to open that project in Cursor. So we're going over here to Cursor. It's taking quite a while to open, but Anyways, so we open the color converter. All right, I said I wanted to use Claude Sonnet, which worked quite well for me. Please keep in mind this is using some credits and you may want to choose another cheaper option depending on the plan you're on. But Sonnet works good. Opus works even better, but it's also high effort model, so it definitely uses more credits. So I stick with Sonnet for this project. Let's see what ChatGPT gives us. We definitely wanted to skip on this color harmonies, which is a little bit more tricky to realize, I think. Let's try this cursor prompt, which it just gave us. We can just paste it in here. Let's go for this. It's honestly, as a really passionate programmer, it is really interesting to see what's going on in this window over here when the model is thinking, because it's not perfect. I don't want to say that you should use it for something which is security first, like a banking app or something. Even if a database or some authentication is going on and you really transfer some important data, it may not be a good option to trust on an AI model completely, but for those kind of really simple utility apps, it's I don't see a problem with vibe coding them. And it's crazy because normally you're going through, when you're programming by hand, you're going through a lot of thinking process while developing something. And sometimes I'm just reading what this model does over here and what it thinks, and it's exactly what I would think as well when I'm trying to realizing a project like that. So quite interesting to go through all that kind of things over here and see what the model is coming up with after spending some thoughts on it. What we can see here is that it's creating a lot of new files for the color conversion. At the moment, it's creating the main view, the content view, where it renders all the stuff. And that's probably also the biggest file we end up with. It's taking a while to generate that. Here you can see what kind of files we already got generated. So we have favorites view, history view, a toast view for informing users about progress inside the app, I guess. We have a color storage, which is for persisting the colors, most probably. And we also have the color conversion, which probably is the main logic for this app. So here it generates me a README file, which is specifying what exactly is going on inside of the project and the functionality which it offers. And I think we should be mainly done. After creating those README files, it's most of the time done. Sometimes it tries to compile the project and it may come up with some errors we need to fix, but in this case, what is it doing? Oh, it even checks the project for me. So as I set up a new project, the deployment target was iOS 26. So people which don't have iOS 26 can't use the app. And it's downgrading the deployment target, which also allows people with lower iOS version to install the app from the App Store. It's generating another MD file specifying all the features. And another document. I definitely should say that it should stop generating those documents because I never used them, to be honest. But it may be a good reference for the further prompts to rely on, as it specifies what exactly is included here and what should work. And that's maybe good for later reference. You can, if you start a new chat, you can just reference those files over here. And then you can give some additional context to the model, which may help with further work on the project. But let's see, as this is a very simple project, I think we didn't need that necessarily. Again, here you can see what kind of files it is coming up with. All right, let's see. We can also, as I think it's done with coding, we can also go and head over to Xcode. Because what I often see is that it has some errors generating, some code errors, and I'm just selecting a simulator over here, like this, and hitting play, so it compiles the whole project once. And I just wanted to see in the first place if it compiles. That looks quite promising, actually. That's compiling everything. It's starting the simulator right now, and I will show you in a second how the app looks at the moment, and if it's something I think we could submit to the App Store, or if it needs some more refinements. The app is just starting as I'm talking, and I'm really excited. That's always a really exciting moment if you just start the app the first time and see what an AI was coming up with. So let's see what's going on over here. We have the color, and we can choose different channels, right? We can choose RGB channel. Then there is another color format, which is a little bit different. And that's outputting us the color. RGB HSL. So this is the color code. This is RGB color code. Let's see if it's working and if it's copying what I generated over here. So this looks good. It even recognizes the color. Cool. Looks good as well. One thing which I actually miss about this is that it didn't have a color picker and it didn't have a color picking wheel. So I wanted to ask Cursor if it can make this, and if it can include some kind of color picking option where I can just have a native iOS color picker to select my color. Let's see if it can come up with that easily. So I'm just thinking out loud where we should place this color picking wheel option, and I think it's a good idea to just place it somewhere here below the color itself, so people can simply choose a color. Let's see what it does for us. Meanwhile, we can just continue to test. So I think there is kind of an history, which is cool. I'm not exactly sure how it saved the history, because now the color is different, but I don't know. It seems to save into the history as soon as we copy something. Then we also have favorites over here. We can just see if that's working. How can I favorite something? That's quite unintuitive, I think. So I have a color loaded. I click here, no favorites. I think that's another thing we need to add, adding a favorite color. That, in my opinion, seems to not be included yet, even though we have the favorites over here. Let's see if we got a solution for this color picking thing. And I also wanted to ask it about adding the favorites. just think maybe when we do long press, this is it. Then we can favorite our colors. Edit to favorites. It seems to not work quite well. So when we long press, it likes something. We have it in the list over here, but actually we can only like one thing. So we need to tell Cursor that it needs to change it. Let's see if that's working straight away. If not, I will just abandon this feature because I think it's really not necessary for this kind of project we are going to do right now. Let's see what it does. So if we restart the app another time, when this whole process is done, then we should be able to select the color using a native color picker, and we should be able to favorite more than one color. So let's see if that's the case, or if we need to have more adjustments over here. So restarting the app right now. This looks exactly like I wanted to have it. So we have this color picker over here and it seems to work flawlessly. We have the color over here right now. We have the right values. Just let me double check when we use a very, very red color like this. The R slider should be very high, which is the case. Good. Looks all promising. Then this favorite functionality seems to be fixed. At least both of the colors are now my favorites. These they show up here. Yay, they show up. And when I remove some of my favorites, that's working as well. I will just add another color. Now we have 3 colors over here, trying to favorite all of them at once. Let's see if this is working as well. And one final thing I wanted to make sure is working is the persistence. So we have this color over here right now inside the app, and it's very important that it stays there, right? The user goes into the app, select a color, and boom, the color is gone. So this persistence should be added as well to reduce user frustration. Just heading over to Cursor once again, telling it what to do. Let's go for this. Heading over to the app once again to see if we need to do anything else here. RGB numbers, CSS RGB, that's pretty cool. HSL numbers, CSS HSL, that's cool. Copy it. All right. I'm gonna copy the hex. It's just heading over to hex color converter to see if this is right. So we wanted to, can I enter something here? Okay, this is blue. What was the color we were selecting? It was blue. That's looking pretty good. Just checking with one more color, copying the hex value. Good. Copying the RGB numbers. Not supported by this, but the CSS RGB are probably supported. That's looking good as well. And we can see CSS HSL. If this is supported, let's see. Looks like the same color. Cool. So I think all of this is working. Pretty solid, very simple color converter. And meanwhile, Cursor is working on the persistence of this color, which I wanted to have for this MVP. Just checking if it's working. I think we need to restart the app, selecting a color once again, restarting the app and see if it persists. And if that's the case, I just think we are done with the app development part. Let's see. So if we're going here, I think the screen color over here. This is good. Restarting the app. Let's see. And boom, here we are. That's pretty good. All our recent colors are still there. All our favorites are still there. And what happens if I click share, actually? Nothing happens. So we wanted to remove that share button as well. I think that's a very, very, very simple task to do. So before I burn more of my Sonnet tokens, I just wanted to head over to the auto mode over here, which is a little bit cheaper. Just telling Cursor to do this one last thing. That shouldn't take too long, actually. Cool. And we're heading over to Xcode, just running it once again inside of the simulator, seeing if it's working. Next thing I wanted to do is just checking if it's working on an iPad as well. So the share is gone. If we click on our favorites, it's just loading it into the main view. If we copy it, it's probably copying the color code. Let's see if that's working as well. That looks good. So next thing I wanted to do is to run the whole thing on an iPad simulator to just see if it's all working with the layout. One common thing which Cursor and Sonnet are mixing up with when developing an iOS Swift app is the navigation. So what I would expect to happen is that's maybe a navigation issue, so that we didn't have the content view on the whole screen, rather than just in 1/3 of the screen having a weird navigation setup. So we may need to fix that as well, but just see what it comes up with when starting the app. Yeah, this is what it fucks up with every time. So it's basically just putting it into a navigation container, which we don't want it to have. So we just want to have that full screen because we don't have any other views. Just going over here, utilizing Sonnet once again, because I think this model is pretty capable of doing the changes we want. I'm just describing what happened. So let's see if it does what we are asking for. But I think it's pretty easy fix. So it shouldn't have a hard time solving that. It's just navigation view style stack. Let's see if that does the trick. We're heading over here, running it on the iPad once again. It's restarting the app right now in the simulator. So it just runs the app right now, and we can see that it's running on full screen. So as I have developed quite some apps and I didn't ever had the experience that on iPad it runs differently than on iPhone, I'm quite certain that the app is fully functional on the iPad as well. It was just about the layout, which is sometimes different because iPad has different aspect ratio, different screen size, and that's what you wanted to check for sure, because that can differ. And with all that said, we are done with the app itself, and now we are heading over to the upload to AppStore Connect. We are going to archive the whole thing first. We're just clicking here on archive. You can imagine it's like building the app once, so it can distribute it to the AppStore Connect. Just closing this and this over here. Then we have it over here. And what's quite new, I wasn't aware that this exists before some months ago, but you can just upload it to the AppStore Connect. And what you had to do beforehand was creating an app identifier in AppStore Connect and setting up everything properly. But from my experience, if we hit next, that should be done automatically. So let's see if that works as well. Request containing an attribute already in use. That's quite weird because I don't have any app called like this. Let's see. Color converter. Is this working? No. Okay. So I think it partially worked. I'm just heading over to AppStore Connect to see what exactly happened. As mentioned, you need a developer account for this, which costs around $100 per year. And if you have that, you can just go here and click on New App. Then we click iOS app, color converter RGB HSL. Simple RGB HSL. All right. Primary language is English. We wanted to choose a bundle identifier, and that's the one which you normally need to create manually, but I think it should have created that already. Here it is. Color converter. So we use the same one in this field over here, color converter, and user has full access to it. You don't need an account or anything to use full functionality of this app. It's creating it. And now we wanted to try once again to upload this binary to AppStore Connect, which now should work as we completely created the app inside of AppStore Connect. So it's uploading it right now to AppStore Connect, and then it's processing it, and later on we have access to it over here in the build section. What I meanwhile wanted to cover is some basic things you want to set up for the App Store listing. Just let me see. The first thing we wanted to do is pricing and availability. We wanted to add pricing and wanted to make it 100% free, no subscriptions, no in-app purchases, and upfront payments. So this is pretty straightforward. And we also wanted to make it available in every country in the world, which is also pretty straightforward. The next thing we need to do is app privacy. You need to fill out some data, and as it's a very simple app, we do not collect any data and send them to third party. We can just confidently say no. And we also need a privacy policy, which I normally do is I'm just heading over to this privacy policy generator. Then we fill out the data from here. So this is the name of the app. I'm just copying it. I'm just adding my email address over here. We don't collect any information. It's a free app. It's for iOS only. Just putting that over here. Developer name is Marvin Kruger. And here it asks you to add third-party things if you use them, but we don't use any third-party libraries, so we can confidently say nope. And here we go with our privacy policy. So this one is HTML, and I don't want to show you the content of my server or credentials I use for FTP login, but what I do is just copying this HTML, pause the video recording shortly, and upload this HTML file to my server in order to later access it through an URL. All right, I'm just back after deploying the file to my server. So just putting me here, which may be better for using the browser because we wanted to see this tab bar over here. So I just uploaded it to my server, and it's called privacy color. This is the privacy policy we just generated here, uploaded to my server, so we can use it as an URL inside of this field over here. And now I'm just moving me up once again. Let's see, sorry for this. All right, let's go with this. We have app privacy filled out completely, and then there is something called app information, which is over here. This is also relevant for submission. So at this point, we may want to use some keyword research. I use AppStore for this, and we can just add a new app over here in AppStore. Color converter, let's see what it gives us. I think I also screenshotted this one for reference, so I just wanted to add it over here as a reference app. It seems to be quite relevant and polished, so I just wanted to use some of the keywords this app uses as well. I go on app keywords, and it's loading some keyword suggestions right now. I thought it does. There's maybe one more button which is at the moment missing. This one I was looking for, found suggestions. We wanted to sort by difficulty going downwards. And there are some pretty cool keywords over here, which is HSV, color identifier, color picker. That might be some keywords which we may utilize, because what we aim for is low difficulty and high popularity. So this one is a quite nice choice, I think. And difficulty of 45 is, and all above is quite hard to rank for. But anyways, I just add the top 100. Seeing to get some inspiration. You can go crazy on AppStore search optimization, and I just wanted to keep it very, very simple here because this app probably leads to nothing, and I just wanted to show my workflow as a small experiment on how fast we can go. All right. And then we can see over here we wanted to use RGB, ASV, color mix, color finder, some stuff like that we could use. So RSV, color finder. Nope, I don't want that at the moment. Color identifier. That's too much. Just use it like this. We wanted to choose a category, which is developer tools and maybe design and graphics. You need to set up content rate information. I don't use any third-party content. The age rating is also something we need to fill out, and as this doesn't contain any violence or sex or drugs or whatever, we can confidently say no to everything. It asks you a lot of questions like open web access and Nazi propaganda, I think, and health or wellness topics. None of them applies for us. Just saying no, cartoon fantasy violence, realistic violence, no, guns or weapons, no, simulated gambling, contests, gambling, loot boxes, nope, 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 nope. And this app is probably not applicable for kids because I don't think kids want to use a color converter app. We save all that. I think we are done here. We wanted to add a very simple description. I mean, we could also ask ChatGPT to generate us one, right? ChatGPT knows the best what our app is about. So if I just go here and say, give me a description for the AppStore Connect description page, please, short and meaningful, then it should come up with a proper description. This sounds good. Just enter it over here, and there's some formatting which we could done to make it a little bit more good looking. So just add this over here for each of the bullet points. And I think that's it. In the keyword field, which is also relevant for App Store search optimization, you definitely wanted to normally use some time to fill that out. You don't want to repeat things which are in the title and the subtitle and repeat them in the keyword field. You can just separate by comma without any spaces, but for sake of simplicity, because we wanted to iterate fast, just adding some things here. Color grab, color identifier, RGB remote, whatever that is, RGB remote. Do we have color picker? Just not sure. Oh, we don't have color picker yet, so just use this. Color picker, developer tool. What else? Color wheel? It's not really a color wheel, but perhaps people who are looking for that might be also interested in our app. Color mixer, you can mix your own colors, why not? Let's see, color analyzer, that's also pretty good. But I think we didn't have enough spaces left for color analyzer, so I will just go for analyzer. And that's it. For the keyword field, 100 characters allowed, no spaces, separated by comma. Support URL, it's just my support or URL, which I use for all of my apps, giving the user contact information to contact me. Copyright, I'm using this. We wanted to save. Sign-in is not required. This is my contact information. This is my number. And this is my email address. All right. I'm just wondering because normally we should see the build appearing here, and it makes me wonder if there is some problem. Oh, we didn't edit an app icon. Yeah, that's needed. All right, so we're just heading over to ChatGPT, asking it for generating a modern app icon. Generate let's see what it does over here. This might take a while, and I'm really not sure if this is the best choice because there are so many AI tools popping up here and there, and there's also some other stuff like Google Banana Pro, which was quite fast when I tried it, but I'm not utilized it yet for app icons, and there are a ton of other tools out there to generate images, so I don't have a clue if this is a good choice, but it does a job for a very simple app in my opinion. So let's see, it's generating. I think in the meantime we can just do some screenshots which we need in order to submit the app to the iOS App Store. I'm just hitting to the simulator once again, starting it, and then doing three screenshots of the app itself, which we then paste into a screenshot template from a website called appscreens.com, which I recently used for screenshot generation. Okay, I mean, why not? We could use this, but I just wanted to ask if it could remove the background. Let's see. We are heading over here, and we just need to think what we wanted to let the user see if he comes across the App Store listing. And I think a nice looking color like this, screenshotting this. The formats are also very important, I think. And then the history tag. So this one is without background. I mean, I told it so, but I expected that it removes this background over here. So let's try this once again. Meanwhile, we have the screenshots for the iPhone version, and I also need some for the iPad version, so we're just going over here, starting the app inside of the iPad simulator and doing the exact same screenshots, which we later utilize to generate the store screenshots. It's starting. I can show you the AppScreens website. It's also pretty cool. I just stumbled across it. I don't know exactly when I came across this project, and it's cost some money. I think it costs like $30 a month, but I think it's pretty worth it because it really saves you some time. I've done some other utility apps, and I just duplicate one of those, and it's basically from a template which AppScreens offer you. So I say color converter over here at output sizes. Just need to see which output sizes we need. So 6.5 inch for iPhone, and for iPad 13 inch. So 6.5 and 13 inch, that's looking good. So it's generating the project. Over here I have the screenshots, and I can just go in here into device, app screens, going to my Finder, drag and drop them over here, drag and drop this as well, and this too. Then we wanted to adjust the text and later on also add the iPad screenshots. So kind of click on the title, Here we go. Color converter. Export. Sorry, so my recording software just crashed. What I did was adjusting the text over here as well. And now we wanted to head over to the simulator once again and screenshotting all those things. So I wanted to select some colors, adding them to the history over here when copying them, this one as well. And I think then we could go for something blue. Copying this. We wanted to screenshot this. Wanted to screenshot that down below. And we also wanted to screenshot the history. Sometimes those native dialogues take some while to pop up on the simulator when it's running in debug mode, but normally on an iPad, I think this is all butter smooth because it's a very simple app. All right, we have the iPad screenshots as well. We just go to screenshots again. We head over to desktop where the screenshots are located, uploading them for iPad as well. Over here. It's all done. We just go over here and there's the export. So I wanted to download all that screenshots. It's generating them for me. The template file has over 3 screenshots per device, so this is the reason why it says 16 screenshots, but we only utilize the first 3 screenshots, which are just generated and downloaded right now. Just heading over to AppStore Connect. The download should start very shortly. Just unzip it over here. App screens. Oh, there's one thing I definitely wanted to do meanwhile because that's taking some time. I wanted to take this app icon over here. I wanted to put that into Xcode and upload the binary. So I'm going into the asset bundle, app icon. I just drag and drop this icon. It's important that it's 124 times 124 pixels exactly. Otherwise, it's complaining about the size of the app icon. I'm just building that once again and archiving it. And then uploading it to AppStore Connect to not waste any time. And after that, we are going to upload the screenshots to AppStore Connect. So I'm trying to submit once again. I'm heading over to AppStore Connect. Going to iPhone screenshots first. Did it download my screenshots? Yeah, they are. iPhone. I wanted to only use the first 3 because we didn't edit the other ones. Sometimes the uploader, sometimes this over here, it's a little bit buggy, so I really had a hard time sometimes with it. So let's see what it gives us this time. Sometimes it's mixing up the orders, sometimes it's forgetting about one screenshot or so. So I think Apple could definitely improve on it. And exactly what I mean, right? We have the first screenshot of the iPhone missing, even though I just uploaded it 5 seconds ago. We're just uploading it once again. I think that's it. So I just checked in Xcode and it uploaded the binary properly. We have the screenshots in place and we just wanted to wait for AppStore Connect to processing the binary internally. And when this is the case, depending on the app size, then it should become available over here. I will just stop the video for now and come back to you in some minutes when it's available. All right, 1 minute later, it just became available. I'm a little bit concerned about the screenshots though, because they didn't show up properly. The iPad ones do, but this file has been uploaded and is processing. I'm not sure if that's working. As I mentioned, sometimes it's really buggy over here. But we can select the build. We need to add some kind of compliance declaration that we don't use any encryption algorithms. Click save once again. And as mentioned, I really have a bad feeling about the iPhone screenshots. Let's see if they are here right now. If not, I'm just uploading them once again. Okay, so this was literally the longest thing on the whole journey. I had to re-upload those screenshots 3 times or so, deleting them and waiting a little bit, and finally they are all there. So fingers crossed, I'm just submitting right now. Let's see if it comes up with any further issues. And if we submit, I will just let you know whenever Apple has reviewed the app and see if we are coming up with any issues. Majority of the issues appear, in my opinion, or in my experience, when submitting something with a paywall, like subscription-based apps, some things which has to do with an in-app purchase flow, and Apple is really picky on that for sure. I completely understand. And I wouldn't expect that anything is coming up during this review because I don't see that there's anything problematic going on. But sometimes you got a bad surprise from Apple and they just complain about something which went through before. Not blaming them for the review, they're doing a good job, but sometimes things are coming up which you don't expect. So let's see what's coming up this time. I will keep you updated, guys, and let's see if this app went live. Here we are again. I'm just really happy to announce that this app passed the review after waiting for 2 days to get reviewed. Apple took about 1 hour in total in review, and then it finally got approved this morning. So this is a full tutorial on how to release an app on the iOS App Store vibe coded within 1 hour. In my opinion, it's a huge acceleration to utilize AI for app development, especially for smaller utility apps. It's insanely fast. I hope that come handy for some of you guys. You can make some use out of it. And I'm really interested in your workflow, how you utilize AI to work on apps or work on code. Just let me know in the comments, share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and hope you will create some really good apps with it.